Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
You know, I need to find a new intro for this friggin' show, man.
Wait for it. JP's going to say,
hey, everybody, because I don't know what to say. And I'm like that with every stupid show that I do. My Disney show, the session, this stupid show. I don't know. I want to be like loose and carefree, but at the same time, poignant.
Try saying like ahoy mateys next time or something. You know, something different.
I really thought you were going to throw out the thumb. Be like, hey, like the thumb. Yeah. That's we should try that one.
I should, but then, well, it does. That's not very radio friendly with a thumb.
Oh, but they get the sound.
But they get the sound.
Oh yeah.
Well, they get the sound already. So I'm with you. That's Geoff filling in for Doc here, everybody. I don't know. I don't know. I feel very awkward and weird on the radio, but it's the only thing I really know how to do semi-well, so I'm kind of stuck with it. And then you're stuck with me by proxy, I suppose. Right, Brian?
They're stuck with all of us. We all suck in our own unique ways. It's great.
That's very true. Well, this is Dr. Homebrew, speaking of suckage. And what we do here is we talk about homebrew. We talk about your homebrew specifically. You email me. You email jpbrewingnetwork.com. You send me beer. We drink beer. We talk you. You listen you. You brew again. That's basically the rundown of the show. That's how it works.
Yeah, minus a lot of prepositions and
sometimes, you know, sentences can be all wordy, dude, and you don't need it. You cut right to the chase, Brian.
Okay. Who's our
English
sponsor
major over here? Our sponsor is 5 Star Chemicals, Brian. You go to 5starchemicals.com and learn about everything you need to be making great beer, because let's be honest with you, 5 Star helps you make great beer. They help you clean your stuff. They help clean. They help sanitize. They don't want to actually come to your house. You don't like open. That'd be a great commercial for like PBW. Yeah. You open the jar and like a genie pops out and like does all the cleaning for you, and then another one comes out of the Star San and does all the sanitizing for you. And
Santa Genie.
The Cini. No, that's not a word. Anyway, 5starchemicals.com. They're great people. They are the title sponsor of this show. They are our favorite sponsor. And if you're going to be at NHC, hit up their booth. Yeah. They're going to be at NHC, at HomebrewCon, rather, giving some stuff out, hanging out, and answering any questions that you might have. And I know you, dude. Yes, you. You have a lot of questions. You might have too many questions, but that's okay. 5 Star can handle it.
The first genie is called the Cleanie.
That's what it is?
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, we have a couple cool beers for you guys. We have John, who sent us a Belgian Tripel. Or Tripel?
Triple, not Tripel.
Is it triple?
Yes,
okay.
triple.
That's what I always thought, but people go Tripel, and I go,
tell them not
I'm
to
a
do
beer
that
guy.
anymore.
I don't want to, like, be wrong.
Yeah, go to Belgium, ask for a Tripel.
A Tripel?
Some toilet water or something.
Are they dicks over there?
No,
they're
fantastic, but
don't mispronounce shit.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
You should know.
You should know.
Yeah.
You should know.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. And then after we've talked to John, we're going to be talking to Matt and his IPA. And he freaked me out. I was talking to you guys before the show. Matt was asking me about some guava pale ale or whatever, and then I realized I don't think we had a guava pale ale. I have an IPA. So I was trying to figure out which of the two of us was high on the mixture of chemicals, and apparently it was me.
The IPA was clearly marked as an IPA. As an IPA. 14B.
Right. So
American.
Crisis averted. Let's get John on the line and talk about his triple or his tripel. See, now I just want to call it a tripel.
Oh, God, no.
Can I
call it whatever you want?
I'm just going to do that.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a tripel, and it's going to be amazing. John, are you with us, buddy?
I am.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Perfect. Just smelling your tripel.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Smelling his lapel.
Yeah. So, John, how long have you been homebrewing, man?
About 4 years.
4 years?
I did about a year of extract kits, and then about 3 years ago, I found the BN and went all grain and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
A year in there somewhere making prison hooch. Oh, no, that was a different John.
That's a Dubel, not a tripel.
That's the toilet water Geoff was talking about.
Right. Have you ever made any sort of Belgian style before? I'm going to wager yes, because you corked and caged these things.
Yeah, I have made several Belgians. This is my first triple.
Okay.
So I was just looking for some input from you guys on what you guys thought.
Okay, that's cool, man, and we can definitely do that. I do want to commend you, because not only did you say that it's bottle conditioned, which is a favorite question of our guys, but you put the 2008 and the 2015 BJCP style categories on the label. Everything we need is right there.
Nice. Just trying to make it easy for you guys.
Well, and you did, and I like that.
Great.
All right, Brian, why don't you go ahead and get this tripel on the way?
Because usually we screw it up, and the bottle is like the ink smears or something.
Yeah, and somehow it's my fault.
Rolls around in JP's trunk for a while, and the label falls off. This one's like securely taped on there. No chance of error.
No chance of JP error.
Yeah,
keep it simple.
Yeah, it's a nice corked 750 ml bottle.
It's as simple as me.
Got a good hiss. You probably heard it on the mic there a little bit ago. In the aroma, I'm getting a nice pleasant peppery, kind of white pepper, phenolic, and just a underlying bready, grainy malt. The fruitiness is kind of subdued. It's kind of mellow, kind of a Meyer lemony smoothness in the fruitiness of the beer. Not sharp or sticking out there too harshly. Just kind of a low orangey component to it. The hop is low and spicy. There's some smooth alcohol in there, definitely. I'm getting, and the triple is a nice alcohol delivery mechanism, as is its cousin, the golden strong, maybe more so. But it's
don't die
soft.
Don't die on us, John.
I'll try not to.
Hold it together.
Yeah.
I'll stop drinking while you guys talk.
I thought it had a nice. In the aroma, it seems to have a nice balance between the lemoniness and that pepper, although the pepper kind of wins out. It's pretty inviting aroma. No DMS or diacetyl or anything like that. Appearance-wise, it's a deep orangey gold color. Really pretty beer. A prominent white head, just creamy and fine bubbles. Sticks around nicely. Very clear. Good retention. Yeah, great. Full points there. Flavor-wise, it seems like a cleanly brewed Belgian ale. It's got that, the Pils malt character in there. Some other things stick out a little bit more in the flavor. And it's got a pretty firm alcohol presence that you discover when you get into the flavor. It's a little bit almost biting and kind of sharper than what was evident in the aroma. Low bitterness, kind of medium-low bitterness. There's some sharpness and kind of hint at kind of a bitter character, but it's not like a super bitter beer. It's a nice medium-low white pepper. The peppery phenolic character of this beer is really nice. I like the way that is expressing itself. It's orangey, and it's kind of subdued orangey fruitiness in there beneath the alcohol and the white pepper. Kind of a medium dry finish. I'm getting a little bit of a kind of a light solvent with the alcohol. Not harsh or rough, but just a little bit sharper than was hinted at in what we got in the aroma. So, and maybe a bit minerally as well. Something interesting to talk about the water, where you went with that. But yeah, mouthfeel-wise, medium-bodied, a bit fuller than expected. Kind of a firm carbonation. strong and kind of lightly hot, not harsh, but I get it more in the back of the throat. It's a very warming beer, and the warmth in the back of the throat is a little. It's like whoo, like Fuseli.
It is pretty warm beer, man. That's for sure. I can feel it. I've been drinking it for a couple of minutes, and it's really hot already.
Those are higher alcohols, kind of longer chain alcohols that will give that feeling.
Are they bad? Is it a bad thing or a flaw? I guess I should say.
The alcohol should be a little softer than that for the beer to drift into excellent or outstanding territory there. But it's a very good beer. I thought it was a very nice triple with a really nice inviting aroma, good balance overall of the phenols. A good phenol character. The a bit light on the fruit. Compared to that, but the hotness and the solventy-like character is detracting a little bit. You want to ensure excellent yeast health, proper temps, blah 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 blah. Watch the temperature. You want to use. I was thinking one thing you could do with this beer is maybe although wherever it was fermented at, if the fermentation ramped up to super warm temperature, if this thing just took off like mad and went crazy. And got super warm, and sometimes you can even it can be warmer in the middle of your fermenter, and then on the outside, if you have a temperature probe, you'll know where that's at. Maybe adding a little more sugar would just dry it out a little bit more, because it seemed a little fuller bodied than I wanted it to be. It's big. It's a big, bold triple. I really like it. I like drinking it. I scored it a 35. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. It might be one that you could also. And this is something Geoff and I were talking about earlier. You could store it a little longer and age out some of that. It might be a young beer. I don't know. We'll find out when you brewed this. But
yeah,
try out. Keep your yeast happy and do some tricks to kind of dry it out a little bit more and lighten the body that way too. So it's pretty nice beer. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Geoff, go for it, dude.
All right. Yeah, no, I really appreciate the cork and cage. That's a pain, so thanks for doing that.
It really is,
It
man.
is. It's just royal pain, but it's great. I got a hint of apple and pear in the aroma, a little bit of light bubble gum, light earthy hop notes, light grainy malt notes, no diacetyl or DMS, a little bit of that pepper note that Brian talked about. From an appearance perspective, it's golden color, very good clarity, excellent head retention, just a slight off-white with some small bubbles that lingered, but overall full points there. It really is a nice-looking beer. From a flavor, the grainy malt character, with a little bit of a medium hop, earthy hop note, moderate alcohols, those come through in the flavor for sure. I've got a hint of white pepper, phenol. It's bitter balanced. Actually, I said it twice. Bitter balanced. So much it's bitter balanced. It's bitter balanced. A hint of lingering spiciness that sort of hangs around for a while. And that's probably the only thing as we go through this that might look to be improved. Mouthfeel, medium light bodied with medium high carbonation. It's quite warming. It's got low astringency, spicy warmth on the tongue that lingers at the back of the throat. I think Brian said the same thing. So there is that heat, that higher fusel alcohol. But overall, a really nice example of a strong Belgian pale, with the typical Belgian esters. Beer comes off a little spicy, a little hot with some of those higher alcohols. As Brian said, well, interesting to hear about your fermentation, but, keep it in the low 60s. And the lagering, I think, like to see how old this beer is, but, lagering it for a while, there's pretty good firm bitterness in this beer, and so that can handle a little bit of age. But overall, we both gave it a 35.
Yeah. Well, and like you've
awesome.
said a few times, too, when you go over there, some of the beers seem they're a little more bitter than what you might be used to here for Belgian styles when you get them fresh over there.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you get it, straight off the tap over there, they are firmly bitter. And that is something you don't get as much here. And so I think people think it's a little bit of a lighter beer, but it packs a bit of a punch.
Yeah, that was something that kind of recently I learned is that the Belgians necessarily don't age these like we do. We tend to put them in a cellar because we'll get 1 or 2 of them, and we'll sit on them for like 3 years, and that's not necessarily the norm over there.
No, they lager them for a bit, so there is some time, a couple months getting lagered, but otherwise, it's straight to drinking.
Straight to drinking.
Absolutely,
okay.
Every day.
Okay. Every day. Okay, excellent. John, do you have any questions for the guys?
You guys are great. I can't think of anything.
What was the recipe?
I appreciate the feedback.
Oh, yeah, what was the recipe and the starting gravity and some of the details?
Well, starting gravity was 1075.
Yeah.
It finished out at 1008. So by my calculations, that puts the ABV at 8.8.
That's pretty dry.
That's pretty rocking, man. That's good.
Yeah, it finished a little lower than I thought it would.
Yeah, is that too dry for the style?
No.
No? Okay. Great.
Not from a numbers perspective.
It can go lower.
My favorite triple is Chimay, which also finishes at 1008.
Uh-huh.
So.
And what temperature did you ferment at?
I pitched at 64 and held it there for probably a good 4 or 5 days and let it ramp up very slowly. And then got it to about 82 after a couple of weeks and left it there for another week just to make sure everything was done.
That sounds not right. I mean,
Sounds reasonable, right?
Yeah.
What can he do to...
What was the yeast?
No, sorry.
It's the White Labs 530, the Abbey Ale.
Okay.
It's good yeast.
Yeah.
What can he do to bring this up? I mean, not that that's a goal of his, but just out of curiosity, what could you do to take a 35-point beer up into the 40s or 60s, right? Let's go 60s.
I mean, it's you got mostly Belgian Pils malt in here. How much sugar in the batch, or what kind of sugar?
Well, for this batch, for 6 gallons at the end of the boil, it was 11 pounds of Pilsner malt, 3 1/4 pounds torrefied wheat, 5 ounces of Belgian aromatic, and 1.5 pounds of table sugar.
Yeah, you can experiment with different sugars too. Geoff, sugar advice?
I mean, I think I use table sugar in mine. I don't know that it matters too much in a triple, to be honest. If you're going to do double or a dark strong, then I would say, hey, there's candy sugars, there's other stuff you can use. But for this, the table sugar is probably okay. You can use you can use the beet sugar. But a lot of times your table sugar is beet, so you have to look at where you're getting your source from.
What about the light syrup?
Right.
That's not going to make them. I mean,
well, the light syrups are they're made
beet
from
sugars.
beets. Yeah, there's the beet sugar. So you could look to do that. I don't know if that throws any different alcohols.
Just seems less processed than the granulated refined white sugar.
Yeah, you feel cooler.
Yeah,
I think, too, using the syrups. You know, what I mean?
It's easier to put in. You don't scorch it on the bottom.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
screw up your beer.
Yeah.
I think the other thing maybe is you could experiment with some lower, starting out with some lower fermentation temperature. So, 64 for you, maybe, 67 for me.
Right.
So going a little bit lower. I know I do mine at 62, but, I'm not calibrated to figure out exactly to NASA to say that it's 62. But,
right. I use a probe taped to the side of a carboy.
Okay.
So
okay.
It might be a tick warmer on the inside.
Yeah.
You can get a thermal and get it down in the beer. That'll tell you.
I think you'd be surprised how much. I would think 3 to 4 degrees even.
Fermentation is
a peak of fermentation.
An endothermic reaction. It's like a heat generator inside there, and the middle is going to be where it's always the warmest. So
right, probably more so on a beer like this.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you can guesstimate if you don't want to spring for the whole thermal well. You can guesstimate where it's going to be if it's rocking and rolling, and your temp probe on the outside is reading 64. It might be 66, 67.
Right.
Yeah, right. This yeast takes off like crazy, right? I mean, it throws all kinds of heat out. So yeah, especially if you're outside of the fermenter, yeah, for sure, come down a couple degrees. I know I'm at 62 in the middle of my beer.
I'll do that.
So come down a little bit. I think that'll tamp down some of the alcohols.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's corking and caging shit. He's no stranger to buying equipment and stuff like that.
So. And it's a subtle point. I mean, it's a very good tasting beer. It just. Yeah, that was one. It's a little sharp, and the alcohol is pleasant. I could drink a lot of this, but it's, you definitely notice it.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Brian. These are subtle points, but that's what we're trying to do. I guess is trying to especially because John doesn't have any questions for us.
The dryness is at a pretty good level. I'm wondering if the perception of dryness or is something playing off the water. What did you use? What's your water like?
Well, I use distilled water.
Okay.
With a little bit of calcium chloride and calcium sulfate.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just built it up
pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're done with you, John.
Great. Well, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
All right, man.
All right. You guys have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. It's good beer.
Yeah.
I liked it. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk with, I don't know, someone else about another beer. It's Dr. Homebrew, everyone. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everyone. We're about to get we're about to get Matt on the line. But before I do that, I want to talk to my close personal friend Brian about his beer bug issues. Not issues, but coolness. So I have the beer bug, and then I gave it to you, fine folks at the beer bug.
I gave
you the bug, dude. Then you've been using it.
Yeah, dude.
What do you think? You like it?
I haven't given the bug to anyone else yet. But,
well, good.
So
I think pretty sure I'm financially liable for that.
Careful
shit, so.
about who I'm, sharing my bug with.
What do you think about it?
It's fun to play with. I enjoy it. Yeah, it really gives you a whole different level of knowing where your beer is at and where it's finishing and what's happening with it. So just for fun, this morning I started. It's not a beer. I listed it as a specialty beer, but if you go to thebeerbug.com and scroll down to brewing right now, and you can just click on it. I just did it as a public brew. I called mine sugar water test. So a specialty beer by the Brewing Network from California, USA. So I had some. I
love those guys.
I'm lazy, and sometimes I don't clean my carboys right away. And I had some mead yeast, not meat yeast, or
no, it was mean yeast.
Not mean yeast. Yeah, so I had some mean yeast laying around.
You can go online
in a carboy, and I filled it up with some room temperature water, and blended in some sugar there, and so. And I got my lovely wife to push the button on it when I was at work, so I could get it to start the brew because I didn't have time with that this morning. But
I got to sync it up.
Yeah, you're supposed to kind of let it stabilize for an hour, and there's a torpedo that goes down into the beer.
Yeah,
and
it's just a weight.
Yeah, it's just a weight, and basically it's I think it's a very sensitive scale in there that detects how much weight, and as your beer gravity changes, it gives you a really accurate reading of where your beer is at right at that moment in time. So it pings itself every few minutes. It takes another data point. So if you go to the sugar water test, you can see mine started at 10:08. And this was just a couple hours ago. It was like 10:10 this morning. I just guessed that it was probably at 10:08. By the time we finally got it posted on there as a recipe, or as not a recipe, but as a brew session.
As a brew session.
And it's gone down, to 10:06. My sugar water is now 0.3% ABV.
What are you going to do with it?
You can see. Are
you going to drink it?
I might try it.
You should try it. Why not?
I joked with Geoff on the way. Like, I could sour it. No, it's probably not going to work well for that. Yeah, it's
probably already sour.
Yeah. I mean, you could distill it. Who knows? Yeah.
You just trying to mess around with it, just see what happens.
I just wanted to, to go through the exercise again, and because I really want to start using this more and more. It's really gives you good visibility. Especially with things like meads, where we might be starting like at lower gravity. I like to make session meads, so I'll start at lower gravity, even like 1050 or below a hydromel, and I want to stabilize that mead and get it to finish at leave a little residual sweetness in it, so it's not dry as a bone and light, because that gets a little too one dimensional. So if you leave a little sweetness in there without having to back sweeten it after you kill the yeast, basically, you can stabilize it with your potassium sorbate and your potassium metabisulfite and get it to stop the yeast right where you want to. I mean,
instead of taking the hydrometer
I'm guessing. I'm like, with mine, I'll start at 1050ish, and I'll check it after a week, and usually I'll kind of luck out. But sometimes the fermentation went a little faster or went a little slower. It's not quite ready. I have to wait. But with this, you kind of know right where you're at. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a great little tool, man. I'm glad that you're digging on it.
Yeah, sure. It's fun to play with. It's pretty easy to use, and you can share your brew with the world too. I mean, one of the guys on the last show had a brew that was going up there. On IPA, Memorial Day IPA. You'll see that.
That's a good name.
Not far below mine. So
cool. Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing more about it. I expect to hear more updates on your bug.
On my
brew bug.
Sugar water brew.
Beer bug. Yes, right. Exactly. Your sugar water brew beer bug.
Watch it in real time right there. Gives you the temperature. The probe on that one is just on the outside. I didn't put it down in there. It's just
okay. Yeah. Sure, why not?
You can use either way, or you can turn the probe off if you're not worried about that. But
yeah. Well, I like it. I like it. Check out beerbug.com, guys. It's a pretty cool tool. But in the meantime, we have Matt on the phone. Matt, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all
right. Sorry, running a little bit late, but hey, man, that's what happens to Dr. Homebrew. You know what I mean?
Is he an East Coaster?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so. He's just like, Matt's like not happy right now. Where are you, Matt? Are you on the East Coast?
No. I'm in Southern California.
Oh, okay. He's like, I'm out in the bar right now, dude.
No.
So, how long have you been homebrewing, man?
I think it's been about 5 years.
5 years? Okay.
Maybe 6.
Are you a big IPA guy?
You
said that's an IPA,
Coast, so
right, and you're in SoCal.
Yeah, so I think I don't really have a choice on that matter.
Yeah,
I like IPAs. I like pale ales a little bit more, but I kind of dabble with all of them.
His bottle caps have like a hop with a crash helmet on it, so.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic, and I used to work on race cars too. So a friend of mine made them for me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Personal.
That was a cool little logo.
It is, yeah. I like it, man. It's pretty neat. All right, well, so you sent us an IPA, not a guava pale ale.
No, so I like using WLP 644. It's it's that yeast that they used to think was Brett, but it turned out it was just a wild sack. And anytime I used it in my pale ale, it gave this really, really strong guava flavor. So in the pale ale, I kind of just called it a guava pale, and then I used it for this beer too, but the yeast was a little bit more subdued. Usually I'll stretch the yeast out a little bit more, like in the pale ale, and then it really puts off those, that guava ester and the tropical fruits.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I toned it down a tiny bit just because I felt like it was overpowered last time, and now it didn't really shine through that much now. So
you're really putting the screws to the yeast to kind of work it to get the flavors that you want.
Yeah, I like beating it into submission.
All right, Brian, speaking of being beaten into submission, why don't you start us off here?
Okay, yeah. I'm getting a lot of tropical on here. It's pretty cool. A lot of that's coming from the yeast. I was thinking wow, he's using some of these modern funky tropical hops.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Like fresh tropical tangerine, grapefruit, mango up front, and I'm calling it hops, but it could also be esters. And that's the thing, sometimes as a judge, do you know where this tropical fruit ester is coming from? It can be generated by yeast. It can be from a hop. So yeah, it's interesting. And thanks for telling us that. I'll have to look up that yeast. That's really interesting. Moderate, fruity esters. They're not really super high. They're just kind of in check. They're clean and in check. No DMS or diacetyl, no bad stuff. Just a low supporting bready malt below that, and a little alcohol detected. I really like the aroma on this beer.
It smells great.
Yeah, appearance-wise, it has a golden-colored body with a kind of a moderate haze to it. A low off-white head. It fell flat really quickly. Mostly fine bubbles. It kind of fades to a color of fine bubbles around the glass. Appearance-wise, an IPA can have some haze, and that's forgivable. It'd be nice to have the head stick around a little longer, but flavor-wise, malty is bready and low and just kind of underneath everything else, supporting. But what you get is the hops, the tropical mango, I got some peach, passion fruit, pineapple. It tastes like a lot of these modern hops that you get, and with a clean ale fermentation. A little bit of alcohol, smooth, not hot. Just a bit yeasty, maybe. But the balance is definitely the hops. Has a nice dry finish, sufficiently dry for the style. You want the hops to play off that nice dry finish. That's one of the keys to the style. If you don't get that, if you leave too much sweetness in your IPA, it's not going to work right. The water seems low in the minerals, sulfates and stuff. Seems like an appropriate water. Kind of like San Diego IPA kind of profile. Hops linger in the aftertaste, and the bitterness is kind of medium-low and out of the way. It's not like a super intensely bitter IPA, which is a mistake that a lot of brewers make, to just amp that up too much.
It is. Thank you.
This one is very approachable. I mean, JP, do you like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
And it to me, it tastes a little more like a West Coast pale ale.
Yeah.
I think it's very malty.
It's not IPA and a half.
It's not IPA and a half.
IPA and 3/4.
Or there's a lot of hop water that I call it now, with a lot of West Coast breweries are just like, here's a half an ounce of two-row and 10 pounds of hops. And that's what I'm going to call my IPA now, and it's undrinkable for me. But it's
sufficiently hoppy, but the fruitiness that's in there makes it really interesting.
Yeah. So, there's a depth of malt. Yeah. It's really good, yeah.
Body-wise, it's kind of medium light body, dry and quaffable. No astringency. A little bit of alcohol warmth, just low and smooth. Carbonation is kind of medium low. It could be a little higher on that, but that's okay. Might be just a bottling thing. The keg might be pumped up a little better if it's from keg. I don't know if this was bottle conditioned or not. Probably not.
I was trying to look, but I don't think so.
So overall, just a pleasant drinking American IPA with a modern twist and a hop presentation with all those tropical fruit flavors. Now I guess I should say yeast presentation. we don't always know. But my best guess would have been hops. Tasting it is just like, it's got a lot of, and it'd be interesting to know what hops are in there, because you could be getting some of that from that as well as from the yeast. So
we'll definitely find out.
Yeah, the haze seems to be coming from the yeast. There might be some hop haze in there too, but a bit of fining could push this already excellent beer higher and just, reduce the kind of like lightly bready quality that you got in there alongside the hops and let it shine a little better. It's all fruit, and you could use maybe a little bit more of like a pungent hop, or like a resiny, or a dank, or a piney hop to balance out some of the tropical qualities that are in there. So try a little Simcoe, not all Simcoe and go crazy with it, but blend in some Simcoe Columbus or something with just a little bit with some of those other hops that are there. And I think it would play even a little more nicely. But I gave it a 38. I really like this beer, and I could drink a lot of it. So thanks for sharing.
Awesome. Geoff.
All right. So yeah, the aroma on this beer is really fantastic. There's a really strong guava, passion fruit, sweet lemon zest aroma that really dominates. There's underneath that very low malt note, no diacetyl or DMS or any of those funny things. Light orange aroma that fades over time. But the aroma on this beer is really the thing that stands out. From an appearance perspective, golden yellow with orange highlights, a moderate haze, a white foam of bubbles clings over the top of the glass. Larger bubbles cling to the edge. I think the head retention on this over the last couple weeks since we tasted it is starting to fade a little bit. From a flavor perspective, medium malt backbone with muted lemon, orange, citrus. Some of that guava and passion fruit, it's a little bit more muted in the flavor than it is in the aroma. And so that was a little bit different to me. I think from the aroma, I was expecting a little bit more of that flavor. No diacetyl or GMS, slightly bitter balanced. Hop flavors are muted, like I said, and they're starting to fade a little bit. From a mouthfeel perspective, medium bodied, medium carbonation. It's not really creamy, but it's got a moderate hop astringency, very slightly warming, and the hops sort of prickle the tongue a little bit. So overall, a pale golden ale with good head retention, at least when we tasted it previously. For me, I know these guys were talking about, they like, a little bit more muted. For me, and I know Brian and I went back and forth on this one, I think it lacks a little bit of the punch of the hops consistent with the American IPA. And a little bit, I would want a little bit more firm bitterness. So for me, I would probably, increase the hopping rate for the bitterness and maybe some of the late hops. It might be interesting as we talk about this, because what you're getting is more yeast derived. You can add some of that balancing hop character, specifically as Brian was talking about, maybe like a Columbus, Tomahawk, or Zeus or something like that. On that light dry hop to improve some of the hop dominated area of the beer. Overall, I think it was a good beer. I scored it a 35.
This is where Matt hops on and tells, it's all Columbus Tomahawk Zeus, you guys.
And tons of guava.
Sorry, what were you saying? You were breaking up.
Oh, oops. Nah, he was just busting your chops.
We're making a wisecrack.
Yeah. He was trying to say that we don't know what the hell we're talking about, and by we I mean them, because I haven't really said much. Do me a favor, man. Talk about how you manipulate this yeast to get those flavors that you're looking for.
Yeah. So first off, it comes in the Brett vial. It's a White Labs vial, so it's a really, really low cell count. So most people say, when you do it, you have to, step it up, 5 times or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've kind of found, with this yeast, if you can do a really small pitch, and it'll clean up, it'll finish really fast. When I did a larger pitch, and it was still kind of under pitching, it fermented out in 3 days.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, it was just vigorous fermentation. And I was fermenting, and they say ferment it a little warmer too. And this was before I really found out it completely acts like Saccharomyces. So
they say to baby your yeast and do all this stuff to make it. You just pitch it in there and say, go, little yeasties, and they do just fine.
We dropped him. He left. Let's see if I can get him on Skype. Yeah, I think he was having phone problems.
Yeah, it sounds like we were breaking up on his end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool, yeah.
Matt, you there, bud?
Yeah.
Okay, this should be better. Sorry about that.
So what were the hops that you did?
Right. So, sorry, back to the yeast.
Oh, yeah.
So if you just underpitch it and just ferment it fairly warm, like around 68, get a really clean fermentation, and it tastes awesome. It gives you all the tropical fruits.
Okay, 68.
Yeah, very tropical.
Under pitch, maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. So Brian was asking about the hops. What do you have in here?
Right. So I agreed with you guys. It needed a little bit more bitterness. Like it needed a little more supporting bitterness, I felt. So I kind of agreed with it was Geoff, right?
Yep. Yeah, it could go with a touch more. I said it was fairly low, and I kind of enjoyed it that way, but I could see it coming up too. I kind of agree with Geoff on that.
So like my pale ales, I like around this, but being that it's an IPA, I kind of wanted a little bit more, and so I used an ounce of Warriors. This is for it was about a 10-gallon batch. So I used an ounce of Warrior at 60 minutes, and then at 5 minutes, I did 3 ounces of Mosaic, 2.5 ounces of Citra, 2.5 ounces of Amarillo, and then I steeped 2 ounces of Citra and 2 ounces of Mosaic for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, so lots of late hop. Which is good. I think that's definitely that West Coast style to really do the hop bursting towards the back. For this one, I think you probably even think about adding another half ounce of hop or something to 60 minutes to give it a little bit more bitterness.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe doing as well as doing the Warrior, because I know Warrior is really low cohumulin and it has that really smooth bitterness. Maybe doing like a quarter an ounce of Tomahawk or Zoo, something that's a little bit more of that harsh bitterness that will kind of
a little gnarly in there, yeah.
Give it a little more of a backbone in the hops, right?
Yeah. But the Citra's playing nicely with the yeast. The yeast characters are getting just a nice tropical tangerine and pineapple and
I agreed with what you were saying about it needing like kind of like that piney or grape, like resin, needing something like to carry it, and that's why. Like when I first did it, I had only Mosaic and Citra, and I was hoping the Amarillo would kind of help with that, but I found it just was adding more of like a pineapple note, so I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, Amarillo by itself is kind of smooth and citrusy, and if you use it with some mostly citrusy hops, it's just going to accent that probably. So, yeah, try something completely different.
Yeah, maybe even a little Magnum or something to give it that push through.
Or Chinook, or something. Try different ones.
Yeah,
I mean Chinook is citrusy, but it also has kind of a gnarliness to it. Dank and
all those buzzwords.
Yeah, and even doing that on the early edition, a lot of that carries through. So you might get some of that resiny stuff that you're looking for, and then doing all the late fruit hop.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any questions for these guys, man?
No, I was okay. Or I can run through the malt bill too.
Sure,
please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I did 48% Maris Otter, then 38% two-row, 6% honey malt, 4% Carapils, and 3% oats. And I was hoping the oats would kind of give it some more body and head retention, but I think maybe it was just because my carbonation was low when I was bottling them, because off the keg, it was a little bit better head, but it's still...
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what the Carapils is for, though?
Yeah, and that's what I was hoping Carapils and oats would kind of help give it more body and head.
Well, I think it is low on carbonation a little bit, but also the head just kind of fell flat. So I don't know. Well, was there any sugar in the beer in the recipe?
No, originally I was going to put sugar in, but I just ditched it.
The oats might serve the same purpose to a certain extent, and they should,
It'll just it just adds a like more of a roundness, and maybe that's killing that hop.
What I get from oats sometimes is a little bit of like an oiliness too, and that might also be killing the head. I don't know.
Well, killing the head, but I mean, maybe just affecting that bitterness a little bit. It's kind of rounding it out, and it's not letting that bitterness show through as much as it would without it.
I mean, the sugar is intended to dry out the beer, and that helps your hops shine a little bit better.
Well,
but it seems like it got dry enough. It must have finished out pretty low, right? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, the yeast will dry it up. That's another reason why I did the oats. Like, I would get with this yeast, I would get it down to like 10:06.
Yeah, so it seems substantially dry.
I'm at 158 in my, or not 158. I was at 156 for my sparge. So,
the mash temp or the sparge?
Mash temp. Sorry.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, this yeast tends to really dry stuff out. So, did you, when you were rattling through the malt bill, did you say that you had some wheat in it too?
No, that was the one thing I was debating between wheat or oats, and I think next time I'll probably do wheat instead of oats.
Yeah, I think I might. If you're looking for that bigger head, maybe swapping those out and seeing how that affects it. Leaving everything else the same, I think. Maybe adjusting a little bit on the bittering addition. I think you get a winner.
And if you can get away without having to add sugar, that's definitely fine.
Seems like, that's kind of the nice thing about this is that because I like the really dry, crisp.
Oh yeah,
IPAs.
me too.
I don't want them to like be sticky and coat your tongue and not make you want to drink anymore. So I like going really dry, and that's what's nice about this yeast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nicely done. Nice job on the beer.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. All right, Matt. Well, if that's it, we'll let you split, man.
Oh, sorry. One other question.
No, go ahead, please.
Did you guys detect anything off with the water or anything? It was kind of I'm playing around with water now. I feel like I'm getting a little better with it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seemed low enough in the minerals and the sulfates. It didn't seem, and nothing really seemed to stick out. It just seemed kind of like it plays like a San Diego IPA with the dryness, and if you have too much mineral in there with it drying out this much, that'll stick out like a sore thumb. So, no, I think the water's fine.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Matt. Thanks, man.
All right, bye.
Cool. Interesting beer.
Yeah, it's a fun twist. Kind of a modern twist, but not as one-dimensional as some of the IPAs you taste out there these days. It definitely has a lot of tropical flavors, and it's a fun beer to taste.
Yeah, for sure. Before we head to the break, I want to tell you guys about the iDip, the Smart Brew water testing kit, which incorporates a revolutionary photometer system, which is the first and only one on the market with its own app. Which, there's apps for everything, dude. I love apps. I think they're great. The multilingual app is the brain of the entire system. The Smart Brew Kit allows you to focus on the taste of your beer. Finally, you don't have to hassle with the water calculations over and over again. It's for home or commercial use. Of course, we all know it takes great water to make great beer. The only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math needed on your part, which is why I think it's awesome. The iDip pairs via Bluetooth and updates your water results instantly to your own personal water profile. The first handheld water tester that has a smartphone app, people. This is very important stuff. You can email the results of the test to your brewers or post on your Facebook page and on your homebrew club. Get the lowdown on your base water profile. It can actually test over 40 different water quality tests. 4 come preloaded and more are available. You can test for things like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, all that kind of stuff. Only 4 milliliters of water needed for each test. I know a lot of tests on the market have like 10 milliliters, and water's precious, man. Uses a patented, safe, and simple reagent testing method anyone can use. They're just little reagents on a stick, man, and you wiggle it around in there, and you set the timer, and it's like 20 or 30 seconds, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And you can run a couple different tests, and then the brain inside the app will do a bunch of other calculations for you and get you a whole other kind of test. So it's pretty neat, man. you can go to smartbrewkit.com. There it is. And there's a Brewing Network special there, people. Enter code TBN10 at checkout and save $10 on either the standard or the advanced Smart Brew testing kit. smartbrewkit.com. And, by the way, if you're going to HomebrewCon in HC this year, the iDip folks will be there, and they'll have a booth. You can meet George, and I think Mike's going to be there as well. Tell them you heard about the iDip on the what show are we doing?
The Brewing Network, Dr. Homebrew.
Thank you very much. The Brewing Network, Dr. Homebrew. Thank them, shake their hands, thank them, and then get a free demo, dude. Make them work. Make George work for a living. Why not? All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to give some stuff away, and then we're going to get out of here. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang out.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Tampa Bay has become a great destination for craft beer lovers with more than 60 breweries and counting, like Cigar City, Tampa Bay, and Coppertail Brewing. One of the newest breweries is Four Stacks Brewing Company in Apollo Beach. Four Stacks believes that the West Coast can't have all the fun. So while we feature West Coast beer like Stone, Ballast Point, and Green Flash on tap, we also brew hopped up ales to our liking in the West Coast style, even as they're truly Florida. Come in and see for yourself. Four Stacks hosts monthly homebrew club meetings, bottle shares, and partners with local restaurants for free food delivery while you enjoy your pint in their new tap room. Stop by Four Stacks Brewing and support the greater Tampa Bay craft beer scene at a brand new community-oriented independent brewery. Four Stacks Brewing, bringing the best of the West Coast style and attitude. Four Stacks Brewing Company in Apollo Beach, Florida. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com. Grog tags aren't just for labeling your home brews to hand out to your friends. They're the perfect way to round out your personal brewing marketing. Bringing your latest beer to a funeral? Craft a metal sign to go with it. Heading out to little Liam's bar mitzvah? Grog Tag custom bottle caps are awesome. Couldn't get out of jury duty this year? Grog Tag the hell out of the deliberation room with reusable labels. Grog Tag has an awesome array of products just waiting to be customized by you. Metal signs, coasters, tasting mats, bottle caps, tap handles. It's all there waiting for your designs at Grog Tag. Liven up your next party with the widest selection of custom products ever offered by a sponsor of the Brewing Network. Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for hanging out, everyone.
hearing Bevo's voice there. We just
that's Mrs. Push.
Oh, that was Mrs. Push.
That's Pushy Jack's wife.
Okay.
Yes, the lovely Mrs. Push.
See, I haven't seen Beverly in so long that we just forgot what her voice sounds like.
That sweet, soothing voice has to be Beverly.
She's always in the back, giving us shit out here.
She is, but she's too important for us now. Apparently. It's because we go on too late. Right now it's 10:16, 10:17. That's for you non-live listeners. It's pretty late.
All right.
And so she got a family. It's cool. She ditched us. You're not happy. Before we get on, I want to tell you guys that our friends at the American Homebrewers Association have a special offer for the entire BN Army. Join or renew your AHA membership in June and receive 6 ounces of Mosaic hops from BSG free with your membership. Just visit homebrewersassociation.org and use code BNAHA, or Brian, what is that?
Banaha
when you join or renew. Offer ends June 30th while supplies last. Visit homebrewersassociation.org and use code BNAHA. Banaha.
It's like an attack cry. You're like, raiding somebody's castle.
Banaha. Okay, we have some stuff to give away, Brian.
Stuff and things.
Don't we? We have
a grog tag?
We have the grog tags. That's absolutely correct. We have the $40 grog tag. At least your beer will look good. Gift certificate going to the beer that we, rate. Look, we didn't rate it low, but just the scores that you give it and the rating systems. It's a whole thing. You guys get it. Anyway, the winner of that is John with the Tripel, right?
John.
Yes, good job, John.
Yeah, we had some pretty good beers tonight. Both of them scored pretty well, so yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, John. I'll be getting all the information over to you shortly. And then if you want to be like John and potentially win the Grog Tag $40 gift certificate, or everybody on the show gets a free little swag bag from 5-Star Chemicals, email me, Jason at JP at thebrewingnetwork.com.
You just told them your real name. Oh, my God. Re-record the show.
Might have to. Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think we're ready to get out of here. Jeff, thank you very much for filling in to Doc.
Thank you very much.
In for Doc.
Hey, thanks to everybody who actually listens to this stuff, because we enjoy doing it. I mean, it's a lot of fun coming in here.
It is cool.
And talking about beer. Just
beer.
As the course of my monthly schedule, I get to talk about beer.
Yeah.
And it's what I want to do anyway.
It's a good time, man, for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Well, you'll be missed at NHC. Jeff, are you going to NHC? Or HomebrewCon, rather?
I won't be able to make it.
HomeCon.
That's too bad. HomeCon. Well, I'll have a good time for you guys.
Please.
How about that? It'll be sweaty. If a sweaty time, that's what they should call it. Sweaty time in Baltimore.
Sweaty time in Baltimore.
Why not, right?
Yep.
Muggy, whatever. Anyway, if you guys want to hear more homebrew content, don't forget we have a bunch of other shows on the Brewing Network. We have The Session. We have all the Jamil shows. We have a whole bunch of stuff. So check
some of them
out.
Actually talk about homebrew.
Yeah, some of them actually talk about homebrew. We try to keep this show pretty clean. Those other shows, they get raunchy, man. They're just raunchy people.
These guys are raunchy.
They're raunchy.
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it for your 6-year-old.
We have something for everyone here on the Brewing Network. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Cheers.